Nigeria today is not a democratic country. Let's stop telling ourselves lies. If you look at all the tenets, look at all the yardstick of measuring democracy, it doesn't exist here. Simple definition, democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. Today, the government we have is not of the people. It's not by the people because the people didn't vote. It wasn't their votes. I'm not just talking about presidency. Across the line, look at what happened in Edo. Can you call that democracy? It's not vote of the people. And it's not for the people. I've just told you that I went to an IDP camp where we have thousands of people, no primary health care. They were begging me to have one nurse, which I said I must make sure I bring. They don't even have primary school, which again I told them I will make sure it happens. So what are you doing for a country that just spent 21 billion naira to renovate a house for the vice president, which is not, hasn't packed in, is not living there. And you cannot even have a primary school for kids who are going to be leaders of Nigeria tomorrow. For people who pass through the same process, to deny these kids this opportunity today. So it is not a democratic country. So it's not for the people. You can't have a democracy without a functional and effective legislature, which you know we don't have today. You can't have a democracy without, again, an independent judiciary that fights for the common person. I can go on and on. In a democracy, it is clear. There's guidelines. Even when you set for people vying for election, like in Nigerian case, you have to talk about people must be qualified. They must have primary school, secondary school, university, and must attain certain age. Charles, that is not happening today. People are with unverified, forged certificates all over the place, criminal records and everything, and they're in charge. So you cannot say that. It is, yes, maybe we're striving to be a democratic country, but the way we are today is not. Look at what happened in Rivers that you mentioned. Can you call that democracy?
I'm going to come to Rivers State.
Yes.
All right. So now that P2B has confirmed that Nigeria is not working, I expect Nigerians to be asking questions. Oh yes, I expect them to be asking questions like, okay, now that he has said this, what are we going to do? Or should I even ask them, do you still want to remain in a country that everybody is, barely confirming that it is not working? Do you want to remain in that country? Nigerians, 2027, it's better you guys do something that will benefit you more than, going into something that will land you to more troubles. Oh yes. Well, in this video, P2B made a public speech, talking about Nigeria. In fact, he said a lot of things about Nigeria, which I'm going to allow you to watch now. Then after watching it, maybe you understand some of the things we are talking when we tell you about the current situation of this country. For some of you who still believe that, oh, when P2B becomes president, Nigeria will be like London, things will be fine. 1 naira equals to $1. Things will start flowing. No wala will be here. Or probably for those of you hoping for a second tenure of the current president or the current government, or for those of you hoping for Atiku to come and make Nigeria to become like London, I beg you to think again. Think again. This is the same thing they have been telling us since 1960 till today. How many years now? We are still hearing the same thing. There's this popular saying in Igbo, Uboloneki ihe ga-eme mmadụ before mali ihe. Nigerians, I'm asking, how many times will things or something happen to you before you learn? How many times? Anyway, please take a little time and listen to what P2B said about Nigeria. Then after watching it, you do well to drop your comment in the comment section, all right?
Our country is passing through a very difficult phase. this used to be a great country. Today, our country is classified among the failing countries of the world. We are now among 10 of the failing countries of the world. We're now classified as one of the most terrorized countries in the world. In fact, we're number 3 or number 4 after Afghanistan, Yemen. You know, and the way it's going, we might soon overtake them. We are the world capital of poverty. Even before the COVID, Nigeria, a country of 200 million, had more people living in poverty than the 2 biggest countries of the world combined, China and India. That is about 2.8 billion. For 200 million, we have more people living in poverty than 2 of them combined before COVID. So you can imagine what it is after COVID. We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world today. 33%, which is the unemployment. By the time you combine the unemployment, we're about 55. And worse still, we have about 60% of these are the young ones who are the greatest assets of production and in their productive age, doing nothing. Out of school children, you're the highest in the world. Over 15 million. Forget about what anybody is telling you. Infant mortality today, we've just overtaken India, which they thought will overtake them in 5 years time, just overtaken them. In a stress level, we are now 148 over 152. Nigerians are stressed. Competitiveness, we're going down. Of course, you've seen perception, corruption, misogynist, we're going down. You can go on, the list is endless. The hunger list now, we're number 98 out of 105. Nigerians have been classified as a country now where people spend over 100% of their wage, salary on feeding. Like, you can't, and it's getting worse. And anybody who thinks it's going to get better, forget it. This is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years. Because we're choosing not to do the right thing. And people will tell you, when I was talking about somebody who is granting loan and everything. There's nothing wrong with loan. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'm a businessman. I'm a trader. That is my background. You live with loan. Loan is what has made nations. Every nation in the world is owing. Even Norway, they have the highest sovereign wealth fund of 1.4 trillion, is owing over 50% of their GDP in debts. So there's nothing wrong with loan. It's what you throw the loan at, what you use the loan, that makes all the difference. And I'll show you countries that have borrowed. But we have a crisis that because we're throwing away the money we're borrowing, it's not getting to a stage where we can't even service the loan. You approve it, you know the budget and everything. Last year alone, in 2021, in the first 5 months of last year, as a nation, we earned 1.1 trillion 847 billion naira. We use 1 trillion 802 to service debts, remaining 45 billion for a nation of 200 million people. In a short while, we will not be using 98% of our revenue to service debt. We will need to borrow, which is what we are doing now, to service debts. And you're not generating revenue. And you often hear government people say, we don't have a borrowing problem, we have a revenue problem. You can't generate revenue when your people are poor. You're not going to tax poor people who are in the village doing nothing. The revenue is the function of productivity. The country is not productive. So you can't generate money. For me, my appeal is it's not about making the next person president or anything. It is about all of us fighting for our future. You're on top of the ladder. If this country collapses today, it will affect you more than it will affect those whom we think that are the laws. And it's collapsing. None of you can live here and go anywhere and be street sweepers. You can't. So we need to defend it. We need to do it. It happened to other nations. Other nations have removed their country from consumption to production. It's happened everywhere. Pulling people out of poverty has happened everywhere. I've been to at least over 30 countries that have pulled their people out of poverty. I just came back from Morocco. And I told Okupe an interesting news this evening. I said, let me tell you, here people spend dollar. But I went to Morocco. I came back on Friday. I bought BTA. They put it in my card. And I got to Morocco and said, I want $1 cash for it. They said, no, you use our currency. I was just telling him, no other country does that. Where you spend another person's country in your own country. That shows the erosion of trust of your own economy. Okay. And I was telling him, say, you can't do it. I've been going to China, I've been everywhere. This country was a signatory to MDG in year 2000. China was a signatory to MDG. In 15 years, they put 435 million people out of poverty. China in 1990 had 95% of their population living under poverty. Today they have less than 2%. So is Vietnam. They had about 90-something% living in poverty. Today they are 1.6. So is Bangladesh. They're going down. We will talk about loan. Approve the loan. But what is the loan being used for? I was in Bangladesh in 2010. And I studied what they used to borrow money and everything. Bangladesh, as 2010, had a debt. The economy then was $115 billion with a debt of $45 billion, which is 36% of their debt. Their per capita was just about 708, so I call it about $700 in 2010. As at that time, Nigerian GDP was 375. Our per capita was $2,250. And our debt then was under $8 billion. Today, we were owing about the same thing. Today, our debts have moved. So in the past 10 years, we lost 10% of our per capita, and we've borrowed about 7 to 10 times the amount we were owing then. So something is wrong. We threw away the money. It wasn't invested. It's not productive. It didn't help anybody. Bangladesh today have moved to a GDP of $335 billion with a per capita of $2,050. So they have moved 3 times their per capita. It's getting better. They're pulling people out of poverty. Go and check what they've been able to do over these years. And that's what I'm just pleading with you. Can we build a better Nigeria? It's not about politics. It's not about who becomes president or who becomes governor or who becomes this. We can make this country better. It can work. I'm a private businessman. You can check my background as a trader. I've been in the corporate world. I've been a chairman and director of several quoted companies in Nigeria. I've been a governor. And I can tell you, I've managed resources. And I know that this country, if properly managed, can turn around in 10 years and be on the path of growth. It's a great country. It has all it takes. All we need is to invest our resources in the right places, cut the cost and waste that is all over the place.
Thank you very much for watching. What do you think? Thank you. I will see you in my next video. God bless you.